Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Zoom. How is everyone tonight?
Evening, Carl.
G'day, Carl.
How you doing?
Yeah, not bad for a Tuesday. I woke up this morning. I thought it was Wednesday.
Always good to wake
Turns
up.
out yeah, always good to wake up.
A day you don't wake up is probably, a grim one for people who know you. So thank you, Swifty, for sending me through a link to a little bit of a discussion. Looked like it was a pre-game talk for St. Louis, talking about their penalty kill. Do any of you have anything you want to go through on penalty kills before we get into the main part of tonight's session?
I found it really hard to help out on the penalty kill because they wouldn't let me out of the box. So,
But you got a 2-minute rest, and so that was all right.
I definitely needed it.
When getting a penalty is a 2-minute rest is when you've got a short bench. There's been times in our team when we've had like 8 people show up or something like that, and there's 2 forwards on the bench and 1 D, and everyone's just rotating through, and no one gets a rest. It's awful. So you get a penalty, you get 2 minutes, hopefully, unless they score a goal. So what I want to do first is just kind of go through the debrief of last week's game, and then we'll have a bit of, because there's some PKs in there that we can have a look at, because I think both teams had to kill penalties or got power plays. So we'll go through them, have a look at the goals and a couple of other things of note, and then we'll talk about penalty kills for the rest of the session with whatever time we have remaining, if that's going to work all right with you guys. You all okay with that?
Yep.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Very well. We shall start at oh, that's the wrong thing. We don't want that. Certainly don't want to go looking at aviation software operations manuals. It's very boring.
Is that how you fall asleep, Carl, reading aviation manuals?
Yeah, does it? It's very dull. There we go. I got the right folder now. Okay. First of all, before we do, any thoughts on the games?
If I'm going to be critical of the Mac days, I thought we played pretty ordinary on Friday. I think that's probably the worst game we've played for a while.
Why do you think that was?
We looked so disorganised. Like, obviously a bit tired as well, like with the short bench and that, but we just looked so unorganised.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have said you were disorganised. You had a short bench, and that makes a huge difference, especially at this stage in your playing times. You're not particularly good at conserving energy, basically because you're spending a lot of effort trying to stand up, and every time you fall over, it's hard to get back up, and it takes it away from you. So it's a lot of that's a skating skill thing, but I think your actual positional play for both teams was pretty good. But when you're short, it's bloody hard.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether it was just me or not, but I noticed the same thing as Darren, I guess. It just seemed the link up play wasn't there like it usually is.
Yeah, a lot of people were also playing in positions they weren't familiar with. We did shuffle a few things around, and there were reasons for that. A couple of people asked to play in a few different positions, but also I had a very limited number of people to choose from. So it's like, who can I put where, and what can we do? Because both teams were, I think we only had, like, the Hazies were pulling one player to bring you up to 10, so you had 2 full lines, and I think McDaddy's only had 2 full lines as well. I don't think at any point did we have anyone with more than swapping on and swapping off for both teams, from memory. Does that sound about right?
It might have just been that, Carl. It just felt like it felt disorganised. It might not have been, but it just like, maybe the people that we normally pass to or we link up with, it just wasn't there.
Yep. That'd be it. Makes a difference. So you can see how important organisation is, and you can also see how important fatigue is, and managing fatigue and actually showing up to the games. This has been probably the first time, and I'm wondering if it's something we're doing wrong, that we've had such a high number of players not showing up for games at this stage of the season. It's it's a bit of a concern from Jane and my perspective. We're kind of wondering, why is this? Are people not wanting to play, or is it just a confluence of life situations happening all at once? I don't know. We've got the same thing coming this weekend, this Friday night's game. I think I've so far only got 7 who've confirmed that they're coming, which is quite low. And it limits what we can do. And it also means, if I've got players that would normally play D and I've got, say, 5D, then one of those D is going to have to play forwards, or vice versa. Say I've got, someone who normally plays centre, but I've got 3 of them and only 1 winger, then we have to shuffle them around and kind of make things work like that. So it does make a difference. So if any of you guys want to contact me offline and just let me know why it is that you think that people aren't showing up, and that would be of value to us, because we don't know. All we see is people not showing, which is a concern from our perspective from the point of running the program. We hope we're doing a good job, and we think we are, but we don't know. If people are not showing up, then that suggests that we're not, because you vote with your feet. Yeah. Over school holidays, it kind of makes sense, but it's not school holidays anymore. So anyway, I don't know. But let's have a look at the Mac Daddies. Mac Daddies played against the Griffins, I think it was, wasn't it? And we had a 1-1 draw. So let's have a look at how that one went. I think the Griffins scored the first one. Another thing to be conscious of too is we've got a fairly wholesale change of goaltenders. Lily's gone, so we've got Hamish. Lucy's playing, but she hasn't played very much. And that does make a difference to how these things go. What do you reckon?
Pinched up too high.
Maybe a little bit. Let's have a look at the back check. We've had some pretty good sustained pressure. We're a bit unlucky not to score. We do have all 3 forwards down fairly low here, so I'm a little bit unhappy about that. We should really have at least one of the forwards up above the hash marks, kind of so that you've got that option to get back in a hurry if you need to. But it's not disastrous. We've got reasonably good possession. They managed to break it out past us eventually after we got some pretty good pressure on them. I think they had Zoe in goal. She's pretty handy. So I'm looking at that. Glenn, you're doing the right thing. You're heading down the middle and taking the Royal Road away. So it's just a foot race, really, at that point, isn't it? Okay, we've actually got 3 people back checking on that. That's not too bad. The guy's under pressure. Just have a look at what Lucy does.
Yeah,
I was thinking what happened there. Like she tripped up a little bit, or
yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but that's half big, wide open, half open net, and she can't fix it. She hasn't got the agility to get back, and so there's kind of a little bit of that's a problem, and she's kind of worked it out at that stage, but by then it's too late, and it shouldn't have been a goal. It's the only thing I can say is that's a everyone makes mistakes, and I think that Lucy would be fairly unhappy with that one if she saw it. She kind of realised what she did wrong. It's very hard to be a goalie. Like, you would never criticise them for having a go, because it's a very difficult thing. But that should not have been a goal. And I think if she saw that again, she'd be thinking, "What was I doing?" And she'd be right. It didn't make a lot of sense. It was good back pressure on that guy. He was under pressure. It wasn't a particularly good shot, but it was a wide open net. And so that's really why that one happened. Let's have a look at the lead up to it, though. When we've got the attacking pressure on them, we did a pretty good job here. They also did a pretty good job of getting back. All right, so their defense is in the right spot. They're doing okay. They've owned that middle space. We've had a shot. But what happens here is we've got probably too many forwards in deep. See what's happening? We've got Audrey and I'm not sure.
It looked like Kieran. I think it was 41.
Kieran, way in deep. And what we generally try and do is only have one forward down below that goal line if we find ourselves with the puck in that situation, because it does leave us exposed. But we get away with it, okay, because they can't do anything about it either. Unfortunately, we pick it up. Now we've got a better pattern, right? That looks better. Now we've got options. So we're trying to get that triangle happening, and that's pretty good. Right, we managed to keep possession. We've got some pretty good sustained pressure here. Some individual skill stuff lets us down a bit, but that's C grade. That's going to happen. And then it's just a bit of a chip. But honestly, I don't think any of our D did the wrong thing there. If we look at it again, then I can see you're turning around. You've seen the threat. You've got that player covered, though, haven't you? So that's all right. You're not doing anything wrong. You've read that quite well. Got a good back check. It goes a little bit quicker. But it's a fair bit of pressure on him. It's just
Yeah, I was probably a bit slow turning around because he had a fair bit of speed up.
Yeah, and that's that thing. When you get a player on the rush like that, they create those opportunities. But it was under pressure. It wasn't an easy shot. I think under the circumstances we were pretty unlucky for that one to be a goal. In all seriousness, I mean, look, we outshot them in that game. We look at it at the end. I think we outshot them 2-1. Let's have a look at the McDaddy's goal, because you got one as well.
Swifty would have had him covered anyway.
Yeah, probably. They're trying to organise their defensive zone face-off. And they've kind of got it, haven't they? They're using the same defensive zone face-off that we are. But we win it back. I think that's Sard.
Yep.
Who has a shot, doesn't go in. That's all right. Has a shot, does the right thing. We've got a nice triangle there, though, haven't we? Yeah, we're keeping that triangle. Our forwards aren't overcommitting. Sit there. Now, you know how Lucy would have been unhappy with that goal? I don't think Zoe would have been too happy either. Watch this. See where the puck is? There, isn't it? Should that have gone in?
No way.
She funneled it in. Oh, but it happens. Now look at the shots on the net though. We've got 13-5. Right. In any normal circumstance, that would be usually reflecting a reasonable lead. I think that Zoe was in goals for the Griffins that night, and we know Zoe is pretty good. She made a lot of pretty good saves, apart from that one. Lucy ended up making some pretty good saves too towards the end once she kind of warmed up. It just takes her a little bit of time to get her head around it, I think, by the look of it. But yeah, that was that situation. So let's have a look now. I'm going to look at penalty kills and power plays in a minute. But let's have a look at what happened in the other game first. We'll look at the Southern Lights got quite a few goals, so we're going to. I won't go through these terribly slowly. I'm not trying to rub your noses in it, just trying to show you what happened. It's Daz with that killer bloody clearance. Yeah, we don't get replays on this because it's the last game of the night and the scorekeepers haven't worked out how to not play the horns while at the same time get the replay. So this is all we get. What happened?
You put me in defence.
Yeah, that worked all right, mate. Honestly, that worked well. Your clearances were amazing.
Told you, Daz.
But look at that situation, right? Our defence is in the right spot, isn't it? Both D's doing the right thing. Swifty's doing the right thing, trying to put a bit of pressure on that guy. We're all mostly in the right place. We've got one winger who's down here who shouldn't be, because we really should have. We should have a winger here and a winger here, as opposed to having one there and one there. Why is that?
Yeah, that was probably me, Carl. I was buck chasing way too much.
Chasing it. It happens. You're under pressure. But that happens, and as a result, I mean, you get away with it most of the time in C grade anyway. So I'm not trying to pick on you. It's just kind of show you that that's what happened. But it's not what contributed to the goal. That player there was under pressure when he took the shot, and that's all you can do. All you can do is put them under pressure, and it's just a shitty bounce. I don't know, Dazzy, if you got a stick on it or not.
I asked Hamish and he said no, but I wouldn't have a clue, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just a shitty bounce. I think he got unlucky with with what's known as a tumbling muffin, and it just kind of went in through everything. Again, you would normally expect an experienced goalie would not let that through. But I think that's Hamish's second game, maybe third. So he's pretty new. He's got a lot of talent, and you can see he makes some pretty good saves. He's going to be a good goalie. Just not yet. It's consistency that's one of the hardest things for goalies. Like every now and then they'll make these miraculous saves, like this guy's the best guy in the world, and then they let in these things that were just like, how on earth did that go in? But it happens at every level of hockey. Casey skates so well. Got great maneuverability. What happened there?
Can you play it again? I was watching Casey skate around.
She's pretty good. She skates really nicely. Got it? What did they do?
Oh, the bloke went over to the boards and then come back and circled into the middle
What did
and
they
got
do
himself
before
free.
What did they do before that?
Oh, they forechecked properly.
Yeah, they did a good forecheck, didn't they? Let's have a look. Go back in time a little bit. All right, so there's a puck's been dumped down. I don't know if it's an icing or not. It doesn't really matter. I think that's Pam and Miss Burgess. All right, we go back. Here's the puck kind of rolling its way around. Pam hands it over and Jamie goes and gets it. Now, at this point, what's the situation?
It's icing and they're just waiting at the hash marks.
Yeah, pretty much. So they're doing the right thing. Some of them actually understand. What are our players doing? Pam's in the right spot. Jamie's gone back to get it. Wingers a bit out of position. We should really have it, although we're getting a change. And it's not necessarily the worst time for it. Where should the winger be?
Up on the boards.
There you go. Should be a winger there. So that when that puck gets rimmed around, there's someone there to get it. because that's what's going to happen. You can see this play. You can see straight away, I know where this puck's going. Jamie's got it on a forehand. There's only one thing she's going to do. She's going to rim it around the boards. It probably won't have an awful lot on it. She hasn't got a particularly powerful shot, but that's what she's going to do. And that's what she does. They put a bit of pressure on her with a, not quite, it's sort of a 1-1 forecheck. But they've got a player here floating around in a good position to pick up anything that goes cross ice, haven't they? That's their other winger, just kind of waiting patiently. Watch what that winger does. What do you reckon?
Did the goalie get screened? I'm not sure Hamish knew where it was.
Maybe a little bit. I think we're a bit unlucky. There's sort of two bits of bad luck that happened here. One is this initial clearance. Our wingers are out of position. We don't have a winger on those boards, which is so important because when the puck gets cleared around, there's no one there to get it. Right? Which means straight away, our normal breakout and our safe play where at least the puck is contested doesn't happen. There's no contest on that puck. They have way too much time. So they get the puck. They then get a little bit of pressure on them, which is good, but it's a bit late. Puck comes flying across the middle. Good option to put the puck across the middle. We try and pick it up. We get a little bit unlucky with a bit of puck mishandling of the puck, and bingo, they swipe on a loose puck and in it goes. That's not a goalie mistake. That's a little bit of bad luck combined with not winning an individual contest when we needed to. And that happens, you know, that's a good goal. They were in the right place. We were a bit out of position. By that stage, I think, what is it? Towards the end of the first, everyone will be pretty tired. They've only had, you know, you're not getting your usual 3 lines of sit down and rest. So fatigue affects that as well. Oh, look, there's Swifty just skating on. What's he doing? All right. So not a disaster. It's actually a pretty good goal from them. Some things that we did allowed them to do it, but you're not going to get that perfect. Good, a penalty kill there. Have a look at this play. What's missing?
The center.
Yeah, got no centre in there. You've got to add 2D and 3 of them. What's going on? What is our centre? Again, everyone's knackered. It's towards the end of the second, and we've only got 2 lines, and everyone is absolutely toast. But our centre's missing. It's almost like we're killing a penalty. There's only 4 of us on the ice. I don't know where the other player is. It's up here in the corner. You can just see, I think there. I think that's James. I'm not sure. But like, you're all nailed. You're absolutely gassed. It's the last 15 seconds of the period. Everyone's like, ugh. And actually our D in that situation really do the right thing, because they might have noticed they didn't have a centre, but may or may not have been conscious. And instead, they're just occupying that space in front of the net and doing their best to keep that occupied. I think that's really good positional play. When you're at a numerical disadvantage, it's really all you can do. And then there's a mad scramble. They're bigger and stronger than us in that instance, and a bouncy puck ends up popping into a juicy spot, and one of them just shoves it in.
With that goal, Carl, how did the ref let that play on? Because Hamish is obviously talking to the goalie, the ref there, and said his shoulder popped out, and the ref didn't blow the whistle for an injury.
I don't know.
I know you can't answer it directly. It was just, yeah.
The referees making calls in that situation is a really tricky one, because how do you know a goalie's actually injured? I guess
no, that's fair.
you generally just kind of assume play on until there's a good reason not to. And you can't tell what's happened there. If his shoulder's actually genuinely dislocated, then he would be in quite a lot of pain, and you'd hear it. But the things that went wrong in the lead up to that. So if you think about goals as being the end of a series of opportunities, what's going on here with our clearances? How many opportunities have we had to clear the puck out of the zone? That's at least 3. Now, at this point, there's not much we can do. We're outnumbered. We're basically working as a penalty kill, and we get a little bit unlucky with a rebound. Hamish might have been able to catch that. It's just kind of bad luck, and then it's just a scramble, and anything could have happened. And I imagine if Hamish was not having a discussion with the referee and wasn't injured, he would have moved across to cover that. But we didn't clear the puck early enough, and that's why those opportunities happen. We had a couple of chances to do it, and we couldn't do it. And that's just individual skill combined with a bit of luck. Like Jamie there, just trying to smack it forward, but their guy was up on the blue line, owning it well. Comes into the middle. We don't clear it. We then fall over. Come on, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Oh, don't just go away. We're in defence. Right, so it all got a bit messy. And actually, that wasn't a center. It was a center had actually fallen over. I think that was.
Yeah, I think that's Beck.
Yeah, I think that's Beck, and she'd fallen over, and it happens. They were there in numbers. They had more numbers than we had. That was going to happen. To a certain extent, it is a numbers game. If you're not there, you're really going to struggle. Where did my share a screen option go? Come back. Not too many more of these. There's only one more of their goals, then we'll look at the interesting things. We've done a pretty good forecheck there, haven't we? It's pretty nice. So look at the lead up to this. We created quite a few nice opportunities, didn't we? Good pressure from you there, Swifty. We've got a nice 1-2-2 forecheck happening. We go across and we keep the. Oh, just missed it. Oh, well, that happens. We get another attacking opportunity out of it. Hamish is brave. Right, we're back in numbers. It's good. We've got the space occupied. Our D are all back. Our center's back. We clear the puck out of the zone. James gets a chance. He's chased down because he dawdles a little bit. Has a pretty good shot. Was the right option. Pam's back covering everything up. She's doing a good job. It's the right place to put pressure on. A little bit unlucky. I don't think we did anything terribly wrong there. Oh, so if you go to jail. looking at that situation, what have we got?
(2-1-2) or thereabouts.
Yeah, I would have said we've got a ton of time. Where are they? They're nowhere near us. We've got 15, 20 meters of open space. Now there's a little bit of pressure. We've still got plenty of room, but we've got a bit of a tumbling puck. We don't manage to clear it out of the zone. We still don't manage to clear it out of the zone. And they end up with a player skating right down the middle with not enough pressure on him to stop getting a good shot. And that happened because we didn't clear the puck when really we should have in that circumstance. In your defense, 6 minutes to go when you've been playing 2 lines against 3 lines and everything's out of gas, that's completely understandable that you're going to make those sorts of skill mistakes. It's absolutely understandable. It happens when you're tired. I'm sure that wouldn't have happened at the start of the game. And I'm sure if we had that much time and space, we would have explored our options a little bit more, rather than essentially just fumbling the puck in our defensive zone and giving it to them. Not once, but about 3 times. And it's Swifty, it's not your fault. It's just because you were knackered. I'm surprised you could stand up.
And I feel like the D goes like really in deep. Like it just seemed like there was just so many players around, compared to
absolutely.
2 wings in a center. Like,
look at what they have. Look at what they have in that situation. Like that freeze photo you can see. Where are all their players?
yeah,
There's 4 of them forwards, isn't there? Now, that's actually, I mean, although it looks like you've been flooded numerically, what it does do is put them in a very, very bad position if we get a counterattack. And we did. We got lots of counterattacks against them. The reason why we didn't score on those counterattacks is for 2 reasons. One, they're quicker than us, right? And that means they can chase us down when they're out of position. And secondly, their goalie had a pretty good game. We got some reasonable shots on, and we kind of fluffed our opportunities to take shots on the net when they arrived. Again, we're tired. No one can sprint flat out when they're tired. No one can shoot straight when they're tired. So all of these things conspiring to allow that to happen. But in general, it's a good observation. They do overcommit. They flood that defensive zone. I don't think they mean to. I don't think it's a conscious decision. They're a C grade team just like you are. They're all usually overwhelmed by what's going on, and not necessarily thinking as clearly as they might, or even aware of where they should be on the ice. I don't know. I'm not privy to what happens in their coaching discussions, but we're pretty much in the right place, which is why we did actually create a lot of breakout opportunities against them. I don't know if you noticed, but there was lots of them. We just couldn't finish them because they were quicker than we were, and they were quicker than we were because they were less tired. Try and sprint when you're gassed. Good luck. Let's have a look at this. This is the last goal video, and it's not them this time. James, stop helping them back up. Get back up. They're all right. We did a good forecheck on them, put them under pressure. They didn't get a clean breakout. We're a bit lucky there, but sometimes you need a little bit of luck. There's that loose bobbling puck, but we're in the right place. We clear it out of the zone. Nice one, Daz. Thank you. James gets a little bit lucky with the other guy dropping his stick, which creates some space. What else did we have there in that situation? Have a look at where our players are when James picks
One
up.
of them was in the slot.
Yeah, look at this. That's just about perfect, isn't it? Right? That is an absolutely beautiful attacking setup, which when you consider it's 5 minutes to go, we're down 5-0, our heads are down, we're totally exhausted because we've had not enough time to rest. And we still managed to set that up. I think that's brilliant. Absolutely great play. Just being in the right place. If the puck had a rebounded, there was someone there to get it. If it had have come out high, there was someone there to get it. We've got that lovely attacking triangle. It's all good. Our D are up on the blue line doing the right thing. How did you do that with 5 minutes to go in that game? I don't know. Right, but it's superb. And it created a goal for us, which is terrific. James finally managed to put one on the net. Took him a while. But one of the reasons why that went in is because we had this setup. So the goalie is having to worry about 3 players, not just one. Right? There's James at a very acute angle, but there's also the player sitting right in front of him, which I think is Pip. And I'm not sure who that is in the middle ice. I think that might be Beck. Just like that's perfect. Doesn't get much better. So the goalie's, who do I cover? Is James going to pass it, or is he going to shoot it? So left the post open, and James actually managed to put one in the net. Whack. Lovely goal. All right. Let's have a look at one other thing that we did with the Hazies. I'm going to show you this just because it's kind of interesting. This was with just over a minute to go. Watch what Hamish does. Get off the ice.
It's too many men, Carl.
No, bloody ref. They blew us up for it. We're like, no, we pulled the goalie. Oh, you did too. Why'd you pull a goalie? Because we wanted to score a goal. So I'm having a discussion with the ref at that point saying, we pulled the goalie. And he's like, oh. Anyway, no, it's not a face-off down there. It's a face-off in the middle. The referee made the mistake, and they know they made the mistake. We've left our goalie in, and we're just going to throw 6 forward and see what happens. Well, let's see what does happen. Everyone stays onside, which is good. Whee! Everyone tries to fall over. They succeed in it. Nice cross-ice pass. Almost. There's a chance there. We just ran out of time. Right, but we made good chances, didn't we? When you think about it, with 20 seconds to go, which is when the puck gets dropped, we create some really good opportunities. And we stayed onside. Right, that was the first shot. They blocked it, but they didn't block it deliberately. That was the guy had already fallen over, and it just kind of hit him. All right, we're thinking about where to be. We're not all just randomly puck chasing. We've got a cross-ice pass into the right spot. We can't quite handle it, but it's there. We've got a player loose high here in the slot. That's you. Brain pain. Sorry.
Me, Swifty.
You can smack me in it, Swifty. Sorry, you're beautifully positioned there as well. Doesn't matter if they score a goal against us now. We've already lost the game. We're just trying to put players in attacking opportunities, and we've got so much chance there. Look at their defensive arrangement. What's this guy doing? Nothing. It's not defending on anyone really. He should be over here. Anyway. Nice cross-ice pass. We're a little bit unlucky with the bounce. We still managed to get a backhand on it. It goes across to Daz, who almost gets a chance. And then we ran out of time. But it was a good opportunity. You can see how the pulling the goalie works. And I don't know if we've done that very much this season, but I do try and do it a couple of times with each team just so they get a bit of an idea of what to do in that situation. If it is a pulled goalie situation, do you reckon any of you should go back and stand in the net and be a goalie? No. Why not?
Nope.
No point.
Yeah, you're not a goalie, are you? You got all the gear on? What's the point of pulling the goalie?
To score extra men on the ice.
It's an all or nothing. Damn the torpedoes. We've just opened ourselves up. If we lose possession, they're probably going to score. But so what? We've lost anyway. We're trying anything we can to try and just get another goal somehow. And it does work sometimes. And sometimes they score goals against you. That's just the nature of the game and that kind of, I guess, randomness, for lack of a better expression. But when you flood the area, there's been so many times in NHL games, especially in bloody series deciding finals by the Boston Bruins, where they were leading and the other team's pulled the goalie, thrown 6 forward and managed to score. Because it's just a sheer weight of numbers. But I, in all seriousness, with the difficulties that the Hazies faced in that game, I thought you guys played a really, really good game. Yes, we got beaten 5-1, but we made good opportunities. And, you know, I think you actually played really well. It was just, you know, we need players to show up or it doesn't work. All right, let's have a look at some power plays. Look at the Mac Daddies first. See what the Mac Daddies do on their power play. I think you only got the one. That's all I have video of. Yes, Daz, you look pretty fresh there, mate. What's going
It's the blue, mate.
on? Must be. Everyone fall down. All right. Now, you see how you're doing that bang, 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 tapping the stick on the ice?
Who, me?
Yeah, you. Swifty
Oh,
does it as well. Stop doing it. Do you want
Yeah,
to know
okay.
why you should stop doing it?
Why?
It slows you down. You could have.
I can't get any slower.
Oh, yes, you can. You watch what happens. We'll just pull it back a smidge. Right. So they've got the breakout on a penalty kill, but that's all right. It happens. Everyone's fallen over anyway. But at that point, you could put serious pressure on them, couldn't you? Instead,
Yeah.
you start banging your stick on the ice. And when you do that, you're standing still and you lose your speed. Don't do it. Chase
right,
and put
easy.
pressure on. Chase and put pressure on always. Don't worry about stick tapping on the ground. If you know their name, call their name. Because that has value. But yeah, that stick tapping thing doesn't really help most of the time. You go offside. Oh, Jace tried to go just a little bit too far. So what have they done? Until now. Oh, C grade, bless them. Stay on your feet.
It's almost like a large diamond.
Yeah, while it's out in the neutral zone, I don't think they're particularly organised. Oh, sad. Finally, we get a shot after the penalty's over. They did a pretty good job of defending that. They got a bit unstructured, but we threw away a lot of the puck. We had opportunities there where we kind of mishandled it. And again, it's a skill thing. You're learning. you can see how we didn't get an awful lot out of this particular power play. Jace, to his credit, at this point, skates it all the way up because he hasn't really seen an option to pass to, and Daz are telling him where to go as well, which is fine. That's good communication. But at this point, I think Jace is like, oh, what do I do? Because he's a D, not a forward mostly, and he just forgot to shoot. And then we let the puck get out way too many times when we had really opportunities to keep it in. And it's just, individual skill as we get better, that will happen less and less and less. We did a good change. That was all good. We kept the pressure on them. Their defensive pattern wasn't particularly well organised. Everyone fell over a lot. And stay on your feet, yeah. All right. Okay, any thoughts on that one?
Not our best penalty kill, but
Oh, it was a power play for starters.
yeah, that's what I meant.
What could you do better?
Score.
That's the end result. How would you get there?
Got to control the puck better.
Yeah, individual skill. It's just puck handling. And that's the thing about a power play is you've got to be able to control the puck, and that's just practice with the puck. Pucks end up in awkward positions because the opposition's going to dump it all the way down the end. You've got to go back and fetch it. It's frustrating. It's annoying. I've got to go back and get it again. Why can't they just let us score goals on them? Because they don't want to. And yeah, a little bit of puck mishandling, a little bit of bad luck with just kind of not being able to being in the right place, but not able to capitalize on it. And I think if you look at a lot of what happens with both of our teams, the McDaddies and the Hazies at this point, is positionally and tactically, we're playing really good games. It's our individual skills that are letting us down a little bit compared to our opponents in some cases. And that's really the gist of it. And it's just practice and getting the training sessions, doing more puck handling, that sort of thing will make a difference. Let's have a look at McDaddy's penalty kills, because this is what the whole topic of the night was. Actually, first of all, I just want to have a look at the Hazy's defensive zone face-offs before we go into the penalty kills, because we did a couple of them, and I didn't video all of them. I didn't grab all of them. I only grabbed a couple of them. I'll just have a look at. Let's have a look and see what happens. All right, just looking at this first bit. I think Pam, you're here, aren't you? Yeah, you're here. That's
Yep.
White Sox. So in the setup in this situation, where you need to be, you're almost there, right? So our wingers are in the right spot, I think. So are we missing one player? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just try and count them. No, that's right. I think. Yeah, that's right. So where you want to be there in this situation is this winger's going to do that. This winger's going to do that. Your job is to get that one.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're actually the priority. You can push the wingers out of the way and say, look, I've got to get to that guy. And as soon as the puck is dropped, I've got to be in his face, lifting his stick up in the air and just being generally annoying. So you're just kind of giving him a little bit too much space. He's given you a bit of space by moving back another metre or so as well, but I think there's about 3 or 4 metres between you. And that's a little bit too much for you to get there quickly. So you want to be right up as high as you can get there or somewhere like that, so that on the drop of the puck, straight away, you're in that guy's face. You don't want to give them that opportunity to move. The wingers are in the right place to do what they need to do, or at least I think so. Yeah, I think that's right. So let's see how it works out. See how the puck goes up there now. Fortunately for us, our winger's already done the right thing. Our other winger hasn't moved though, have they? Right, so I look at this, look at where the puck goes. Straight into that juicy intercept spot, isn't it? So this winger has moved straight away and he's going to get that puck. This winger should have gone straight up that way and hasn't, standing still.
You mean D?
No, that you're D there, aren't you, Pam?
Yeah, but
And that's Swifty, who's also playing D.
no, he's playing wing.
Swifty, what are you doing there?
Get in the bin, son.
Where should the winger be?
No, that's not me, Carl. I've got white stripes on my pants.
Over here? Oh, whoever it is. Anyway, so we'll go through the defensive zone face-off before the next game, just kind of remind everyone of where they need to be again. It's a tricky thing to get right until you kind of remember it. But yeah, the winger should have been here blasting straight up. But what does happen is one of them's done the right thing. Let's see what happens. Right, straight away we get an interception. They retrieve it, and then Hamish makes a pretty decent save from a deflection. And now we'll get another go. What happens here? This time everyone's in the right spot. Two wingers in the right place, one D in the right place. Pam, you could probably be up a little bit higher, but that's better than it was previously. So
Yeah, because I should have been where that winger was in the last one.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's where we all got. Yeah. Okay.
But in this situation, now you can see that you're going to go get that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That it works. You can see that. That's good. Drop of the puck. Same thing happens. Our wingers this time are moving. And what do? We create a rush. And out of that rush, we get a penalty. Now, you don't see it there, but they interfered with James, who got shoved into the boards. So it created a penalty for us, which created a power play. So that's an example of that defensive zone. Twice in a row, the puck bobbles into that really juicy position. First time we didn't quite take advantage of it as well as we could, but that's partially a luck thing. And the second time, straight away afterwards, we get a counterattack out of it. They saw it and they responded to it reasonably quickly, so they were there in numbers. And again, we were tired, so we didn't have the speed to make them pay because it's tough. We've only got 5 minutes to go in the third and everyone's nailed. I imagine if you guys were fresh and had that extra line, that would have been a different story. But you can only do with it what you can do with what you've got. So let's have a look at what happened after that at your power play. Oh,
I knew that was coming.
curse the fates.
I think I did it twice too.
We recovered. Oh, we just gave it to them. That was silly.
That was me missing it again.
Yeah, that's okay. It didn't go very far. They've got a reasonable setup. They've collapsed a little bit too much. They're giving away too much of the attacking zone. James gets in, gets a shot away. It's the right option. They're trying to get themselves organised. See how their forwards are collapsing a little bit too deep and their D are a little bit too deep? What that's doing, let's just have another look at it. I'm just going to wind this back 5 seconds or so. See them getting themselves organised while we go and fetch the puck. Look at where they all are. Now, it's a subtle thing, but their D are too far back and their forwards are too far back. What they really should be doing is having their players there, and there, rather than collapsing so far back in defence. Okay, because what this is doing is that's giving us all of this room to skate in with no pressure on us. If their forwards were up a little bit higher, we wouldn't have that option. They're owning that space a bit more. That's one of the reasons why the box is so effective, is it takes away all of those scoring opportunities. And you can only shoot from a long way out or from a bad angle when the box is working well. And they've collapsed too much to let that work. By collapsing, I mean going back down towards your D, towards your own goal. So they give us all that space, no forward checking pressure at all. Look how far back they are now. Right, their forwards are where their D should be. and the D are doing nothing useful, which gives us, and James is skating in with the puck thinking, this is great. I've got so much time. What am I going to do? Too much time to think. All right, gets in, shot from the perfect position. Backhanded shot. They try and clear it, but they're under pressure. Get on your feet quickly. Oh no, you're all tired. Another shot. Their pattern's completely disintegrated. They're all just puck chasing now. We get another shot. That's about 4 or 5 shots we've had so far in this particular power play. Another shot.
That was a nice little pass set up there.
Yeah, there's a lot. Because they're giving us all this space. Their pattern's disintegrated. Another shot. Oh. They passed it to you, Pam. See them collapsing? One of them should have skated out to put pressure on you. But anyway, we made lots of good opportunities out of that power play, didn't we? Lots. 5 or 6 good scoring chances. Now, we didn't turn them into goals, but we created a lot of pressure on them, and that's really what it's about. And that's because their defensive pattern wasn't very good. It was a box, but it wasn't a very good box. It was too small a box. Okay, and you can see how we could take advantage of that. They didn't put any forechecking pressure on us at all. We had all the time in the world to get organised. And then when we did get in and we did start moving the puck around, they collapsed into puck chasing. So their penalty kill is not very good. Let's see if they did the same thing the other time, because we had another one. We had 2 power plays against them. See what happens this time. Let's buzz through this. We don't need to. Oh no, start of the period. So we start the period on the power play. Nice. They give it to us from the face-off. We give it back to them. A nice 1-2-2 forecheck there. We don't quite manage to capitalize on it, but it's the right idea. They do a shitty dribble across ice. We're a little bit unlucky not to get it. Everyone falls over.
You don't look bad in green, Murcott.
Sorry?
Murcott doesn't look bad in green.
Yeah, he does all right. It's got a good shot.
It's not as slimming as the blue though, so
Just a shame he doesn't aim his shots. Because there's a lot of power in them. So this time they've got no structure at all in their penalty kill. They're just kind of skating around at random. But we didn't create as many opportunities against them, and that's because I think we were just they did a reasonable good job of pressuring us, but I think by that stage too, they were fairly tired, and we're just in the process of throwing out the puck. So one of the things that we can do a little bit better, and Darren, I mean this specifically in your case, is you have a fantastically powerful shot on you. What we need to do is control it. When you get the puck, just take half a second. Think about where you're going to put it. You don't just have to belt it. I know you've got a lot of power, and sometimes you do need to, especially if you're in a defensive situation. Sometimes just rimming it is the best option. And we know you can put the puck all the way down the other end, which is great. It's really useful. But if you can aim that cannon, and it only takes you half a second just to think about it and go, right, this is where I'm going to put it. We'll just work on that a little bit, and I think you'll find you'll score a lot more goals. If you
He had no issues, Carl, last week when he played against us.
Oh, no, he shot one through my legs and scored a goal.
Anyway, so you can see that's their penalty kill not working particularly well, and certainly the second time around, we got a lot of opportunities against them. McDaddy's had 2 penalty kills. Have we looked at the McDaddy penalty kills? Because this is what the night's kind of all about, isn't it? PKs, and it's 9 o'clock already, and I've used up all of your time. Guess like that, doesn't it? All right, so we're on the PK. And they're offside. Get over there, you idiot. Thank you. Not sure what's happened there. Oh, it's the end of the period. Okay. We'll just fast forward through that. I don't know why they bothered to drop the puck with just 4 seconds, but anyway. So I'm just going to wind back a smidge. I don't think Bree's here at the moment, but I want you to have a look in the face-off. This is a technical thing for centres. Have a look at where Bree's holding the stick. What do you see?
High up.
Yeah, isn't it? Where's the other guy holding the stick?
Down near the heel.
Yeah, just look at their body positions at that face-off. Let's see if it changes. Right. So as a centre, it's an adversarial position in that circumstance in a face-off. If you're doing a face-off, you want to be making the other centre wonder what you're going to do, not giving them room, and certainly not giving them all that space by getting back on your heels. You need to be forward on the front of your foot with weight on your stick so that you can hold it against someone else. And if that other person is stronger than you, and in the vast majority of cases, the people that Bree plays against will be stronger than her. She is a small female, not a big bloke. She needs to use better technique to win that face-off. As it is, it just kind of dribbles out fairly inconclusively. But anyway, that's just a technical thing I'll work on with her if I get a chance to. Everyone fall down. All right, Glenn, you did the right thing there. That was good. Put a bit of pressure on them without overcommitting. See how our forwards are much higher than there was in that other penalty kill that we were watching earlier? That's a question.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because what the other mob were doing was their forwards were floating around back here. Ours are up higher, which is good. Our D could probably be up a little higher, up at those hash marks, just to kind of occupy that space a little bit better. But our forwards are up nice and high, so that's good. It means we're taking away this bit of, sorry, my drawing with these things is terrible. We're taking away the option for them to get uncontested puck in that area, which is really what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to stop them getting easy shots. If they get a good shot at a good angle, that's the way it goes. But we want to take away the easy stuff. All right, that was good pressure there. Audrey did a good job of coming out and putting pressure on them. All right, so let's just watch that again. All right, so we get our face. Audrey does a good job of clearing the puck out. She's doing really well this season. She's improved heaps. All right, we get ourselves set up. That looks good. Now watch what she does. They come towards her with the puck and she actually goes out and puts a bit of pressure on them, just enough to take the options away. It's not overcommitting. She didn't barrel straight at them, but she's done a good job of taking away those options. And as a result, we've got forcing them to do something rather than waiting for them to do something. Right. And does the right thing and clears the puck away all the way down the other end, and we'll get a change. Nice. Good work. Really good penalty kill. Now we need to get organised again. D are in pretty much the right place. So it dumps it. That's okay. They have to go down and dawdle with it while they're all kind of scratching their heads and wondering what to do. And, oh, almost offside. But this time, what happened there? Let's just have a look at how they enter the zone. What's going on up here?
Saad's challenging.
Yeah. Is that always the wrong thing to do?
Not necessarily, no.
Not necessarily. Sometimes it's the right thing to do. But they've got pretty good quality possession. And there's just that one player floating around here behind him. Right, now what's he doing? What's going to happen?
I could just get past around it.
Absolutely. Yeah, piece of piss. Really easy. See what happens. Yep, really easy. Right, and all of a sudden now we've got 4 on 3. So if you're going to make that forecheck, and I'm not saying you should never do it, you need to make sure you don't overcommit on it. You've got to be seeing if they're skating towards you with the puck, you can skate up to an extent, then you have to start skating back. You're not trying to take the puck off them. You're trying to take their options away. And it's a slightly different way of thinking. You know how if they put the puck over in the corner as a D, we go and contain rather than contest? You want to think about if you're that forechecker in a penalty kill, you're containing them. You're not trying to take the puck off them. You're just trying to reduce their options and confuse them a little bit with a bit of extra motion. You need to make sure you don't overcommit and end up with a situation like this where we have 4 on 3. Now, the other guys are all doing the right thing. We haven't overcommitted. We've put a little bit of pressure on. And Saad, to his credit, does haul ass and does get back, so he tries to fix it. And now we get our formation back again. Oh, brave. Don't do that. What nearly happened? Switch that again. Lucky they can't shoot. That's all right. We're overcommitting again, going up, challenging high on the blue line. All we really want to do is cut off those options. But we managed to get possession out of it. And then what do? You can see what he's going to do, can't you? Straight away, just looking at that. Where's the puck going?
Shitty dribbler. Yeah,
straight to number 24. Aren't we lucky that number 24 can't puck handle? Because it went straight through. Playing up the boards, it's a penalty. So just some things to be mindful of in that situation. But on the whole, you can see how the structure works if you hold it right. So that's kind of all I wanted to go through this evening. It's 9 now, so I've used up well over an hour of your time. Things that we can do, and I don't know how many of you can remember that video that Swifty sent through that we looked at earlier, talking about how the St. Louis were doing their penalty kill. If you do watch that video, I'm sure Swifty will put it up, or I can put it up in fact, I will. I'll put it up in the Facebook group. You can have a look at it. Be aware that it's not the penalty kill that we do. It overcommits people and relies on an awful lot of individual skill, which at the moment we don't have. It relies on people being very well organized together, because they give away a lot of space and then they take it back, which is a very advanced form of penalty kill. Again, these are NHLers and they get it wrong. So it's not a particularly good strategy to start with if you're not particularly experienced. And it did ultimately get them in a bit of bother too. They talked a bit about the statistics about how they had a particularly good penalty kill that season. What you don't hear is that they didn't get many penalties against them, which meant they didn't have to use it very much. So what happens is the experienced teams at NHL level, they have got people who watch all the other teams' games, and they'll watch their power plays and watch their penalty kills and watch what they do. And they'll pick holes in it and work out how to beat it. And the way you beat the St. Louis thing is to pass through the wall, because there'll be open space. And all you need to do is source it, get it through there, or rim it around the back, and you've got time and space to score goals against them, and ultimately did let them down a bit. But that's not really the point. The point is that it's not the penalty kill that we're going to use. What we can do is, most of you have gone. Okay, you guys still interested in this?
Yeah, Carl.
Everyone else has buggered off. All right, so I'll just draw some diagrams just so you can kind of see. I'll pull up a map. I don't have any here. Oh, that's why. All right, so we'll just go through this briefly, because I know you want to go and do other things on a Tuesday night. So here's our ring. Let's say we're playing up the ice. So our standard default penalty kill would be your usual box, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's ultimately, that box is a fallback. And the reason why I've taught it to both teams to start with is because as you go through your hockey careers and you play more hockey and you get either more advanced penalty kills or no organized penalty kills at all, depending on who you're playing with, you want to fall back to that, because that takes away good quality options, and it's a good conservative penalty kill position. But it does give away the entrance to your attacking zone, which you might not necessarily want to do. So what you can do is you can keep your 2D back here, or even if they're fast enough, you can have your D move up to the blue line if you feel quick enough that you can get back fast enough. And then you can run, there's a bunch of variations on this, but you can run a 1, 1, 2 pattern like that. That's one option. So they've gone back here to get the puck. This player skates towards them and takes away the middle of the ice, curls that way, and then comes back. And the idea is that this player looks up and sees they haven't got that cross ice pass option anymore. All they can do is play up the boards. Now that's okay, because if they play up the boards, it's safe for them, but it's not particularly effective, because we've already got players back here covering everything. As they cross this blue line, D move back, and this player moves back, and that player moves back. So you end up falling back into your box. And that's quite a good way of doing it. So you are being a little bit more aggressive. This player has ability to roam, but you wouldn't want to go past about there unless you're really fast. Are any of you really fast? No.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. So you don't.
Maybe Casey can.
Yeah, sorry?
Casey can.
Yeah, Casey could do it. She's quick enough to get back. But most of you aren't quick enough to get back fast enough to be able to deal with it. So how far up you come and put pressure is a factor of how much faster or slower you are than the opposition you're playing against. And that's a very variable thing. Like Casey's pretty fast for a C2 player, but I reckon if you put her up in B3, she would not be the quickest player on the ice by any stretch. So you modulate what you do, judged based on your opposition. And you can see as we play against different teams, you could be more aggressive on the forecheck in the penalty kill, or if they're a lot faster than you, you'd have to be a lot less aggressive. And you've got to kind of make that decision as you go along. And the only right answer is the one that doesn't let them score goals. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So, unless it fails catastrophically and they'll get past you, you can kind of work on that. So that's one option. Another good option is a thing called a neutral zone trap. You ever heard of a neutral zone trap?
Every NHL game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have heard of it. A basic neutral zone trap is this: 3 players lined up across there, and 1 floating around here. As you basically made a wall. How are they going to get through it? If they try and carry the puck, there's players in the way who can put pressure on them. Right. So it's quite effective. And what it does is it traps them in the neutral zone and takes away their ability to cross the blue line and get in and score. What happens though? How would you beat that?
Dump and chase.
Yeah, dump and chase. The way to beat that is a dump and chase. And it doesn't always work. So you have to have your dump and chase organized. And one way to do it would be to have a forward here rimming it all the way around, and another forward as soon as that puck crosses there, going over here. To do that, you need to be organized. It's not a random thing, it's a practice thing. Do we have a chance to practice that?
No.
Not really, although you can make it happen. You can go to stick and pucks and do it. So it can be done with limited resources. You can do it at stick and pucks. You can even talk about it before a game. But the problem with talking about it before a game and then trying to execute it during a game is it usually doesn't sink in. Most of the time, we know that what we say before games to you is, even though it's lots and lots of repetition, it goes in one ear and comes out the other. And it's not because you're not trying to concentrate on it, because I know you are, and it's not because you're not trying to learn, because I know you are, and it's not because you're dumb, because I know you're not. It's because you go out on the ice and all of a sudden everything is under pressure and it all changes, and you've got to try and remember something theoretical and put it into a practical context without rehearsal. And it generally doesn't work very well in most contexts. Not saying it's impossible, but as a general rule, if I explain something to you that you haven't practiced during a pre-game briefing, it's like our defensive zone face-offs. Until we've done them a dozen times, you don't remember. Even though you could probably draw it on a piece of paper and say exactly where you should be. In the actual game context of being on the ice and there's an opposition doing opposition-y stuff and there's a puck bouncing around and referees and people yelling and that sort of thing, it all changes. And that's one of the reasons why it's so challenging. So what I would suggest we do as a more advanced power play would be 2D basically stay at home, 1 forward moving up a bit higher, and if the other forward is confident to do it, that forward roaming and taking away options. But if they're going to do that, the other 3 had better be ready, because you might have to close things down pretty quickly. Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, go.
So
Yep.
that very sophisticated power penalty kill that the St. Louis were doing, which got them in trouble too on a lot of occasions, we can't do that. We just don't have the skill or the ability to practice it. So it would be counterproductive. We'd end up essentially puck chasing, because what it looks like is puck chasing, because it's basically what it is. It's just a more sophisticated puck chase. And they practice it all the time. So I would suggest that it's an interesting thing to watch, but it's not what we'll do. Not this season anyway. You're welcome to try it later on in your careers with other teams. And you'll find there are dozens of ways to do this. This by no means of what we've described the only way to do it. Did I show any of you guys the plays book? Because there is a plays book. Might have waved it around. It's a particularly good book by Mike Johnson and Ryan Walter. This one, I don't know if you can see that very well, called Hockey Plays and Strategies.
You're sharing your screen. Oh, maybe I can see it. Oh, yeah.
Kill this. I'll try and kill that. This goes away, it'll probably bring it back. Okay, you can see that?
Yep.
Particularly good book. It has hundreds of plays, all explaining what to do in various situations and circumstances. It also says at the start of it, forget trying to learn all this stuff, you can't. And you certainly wouldn't be able to apply it in a game situation. Like, no one could know all of this. It's just, you can't. And there's not much point, because you're not robots. You're dealing in a dynamic environment. You have to be intelligent, not just blindly following patterns. So you have to be able to adapt things fairly quickly. And one of the points this book makes right at the very start is these are just guidelines. Don't expect players to be able to get it. Pick a couple, practice them, and see how they work. And then also use it to recognize what your opponents are doing. And then these are some counter strategies for what your opponents are doing that will usually break up what they're trying. Because for every play, there's a counter play. And you can use things to get it. So at this point in all of your careers, it's a fascinating book to read through, but don't think you have to know it all, because you don't. If you stick to the basic pattern that we have, which is own the neutral zone, back check hard through the neutral zone, own the space in front of the net, and make sure there's no one play rushes. That's, it's your best strategy for pretty much every bit of hockey. And you can watch the NHL players making the same basic mistakes that we make, getting beaten in the same basic ways that we do, just at about 5 times the speed, and giving away the same scoring opportunities. And it's the same. It's just they tend not to fall over so much. Pardon me. That'll do for tonight, I think. It's just about 9:30. So thank you all for your patience. What I really would appreciate is get on your group chats and say, hey guys, what's going on? I'm not on the group chats. I don't see what gets said, so it's confidential. If you want to talk to people confidentially, that's fine. If you want to talk to me, or if you want to send me, you can't really send me anonymous messages, but if there are issues with what we're doing and people aren't happy, which is why they're not showing up, we need to change something, and I need to know what that is in order to change it. We're about trying to get as many of you playing this game as possible and having a good time doing it. And if you're not happy, we need to know so that we can try and fix it. So you guys are my foot soldiers, I guess, for lack of a better. So please do give me some feedback on what we can do better to get more people showing up to these games, because 2 lines, less than 2 lines sucks. Maybe it's just Friday nights. I don't know. But either way, we need to know so that we can try and improve the situation. We've got another season coming up. It'll be a long one. And we want to have a program where everyone comes through at the end of it saying, hey, this is the best fun I've ever had, because that's what we try and do. All good?
All good. Thanks, Carl.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Yeah,
Carl.
thanks, Carl. Appreciate it.
I will be at the tomorrow night's iceHQ hockey school, coaching that again. I'm not going to tomorrow morning's stick and puck. I'll need to sleep in because I've got a big day tomorrow. But if I don't see you there, I'll see, I think it's Mac Daddy's this Friday. Hazy's have the bye.
Yep.
I got that the other way around. Either way.
No, Hazy's has the bye.
Okay, so Mac Daddy's this weekend. Get on your group chats, razz everyone up. Say, hey guys, what's going on? Where are you all? And I will see you on Friday, or if not, shortly afterwards. Have a great night.
Thanks, Carl.
See you, mate.
Thanks, Carl.
Guru.
Thanks, mate.